All right, all right. We are back with our very own Debra Squyres from Bonusly. How are you, Debra? Where are you in the world?
I am doing well. I'm coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. So, not far
Ooh,
from Dallas, in case you don't know where Fort Worth is. Hi,
very nice.
Danielle.
I'm doing great. I'm in Connecticut and beautiful blue skies. I'm excited to get outside after this and do a little bit of tanning, to be honest. Um,
Oh, nice.
right? But I think that last conversation, was a seamless transition into this one. So when we were talking about engagement,
Mhm.
retention, that's seems like it's your jam. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what your focus has been, a little bit more about your background, the work that you're passionate about?
Yeah. So, what I'm passionate about is for people to be happy and thriving. And we spend the majority of our time at work. And so, I've spent my entire career with the personal mission to make work better.
Mm,
And that's what we do at Bonusly as well. Our commitment is to make work better. And we live in a free agency market these days. The discussion around retention and loyalty is one that we've been having for years. In fact, that War for Talent McKinsey article came out in the late 80s. So, this is something that we've been talking about for quite some time, but the nature of work has changed drastically over the
mm,
last 4 to 5 years. And you add generational shifts in the workplace. You've got something like 10,000 baby boomers leaving the workforce every day
yep.
at this point. The nature of work and the way that we work has fundamentally shifted, and we're still using last century's solutions and processes, and surprised that we're not getting better results today.
Right. So from that perspective of, we're using old technologies, like what do you think is required, for organizations to really edge up their game and meet people where they are in this new economy of working?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We really need to meet people in the flow of work. We can't take them out of their day to day work and the way that they want to work. The workplace is no longer at the water cooler, if the audience even knows what a water cooler is these days. Like
I do, I
literally,
do.
okay.
The
um,
audience, aka
People
me.
don't meet up in the lunchroom anymore and build relationships. So we
Right.
have to meet them where they are, and people demand flexibility. So using old ways of doing things, it's not just technology, it's also old processes. If you think in terms of one of the oldest processes that we have in the workplace is the
Hiring.
performance review.
Oh.
Do you
Mhm.
have any idea when the performance review started?
Like the Industrial Revolution?
In the early 1900s, like
Okay.
in the 19 teens,
Wow.
as a military review practice in World War One.
Wow.
Um,
So we're using
yeah.
wartime technology. We can call it that.
Yes, yes. It's even older than I am at this point.
Wow.
So, like, it's really old.
You're not that old.
Um, and so it's no wonder that people don't feel like the workplace provides them an opportunity to be
Right.
happy and thriving because we're doing things in a way that don't make any sense for the world of work and the way that we work today. Um, One of the things that we do really poorly in the workplace is empower our managers to be great.
Mm,
We have consistently looked at great managers as an exception and not the rule. And it's not easy to be a great manager, but companies are actually standing in the way of people managing well and becoming great managers. One, there's just a general lack of training, but then we force processes and tooling
yeah,
on them that don't work.
yeah.
Um,
There was like a really great report that came out last year that was talking about how how managers spend their time and how they'd like to spend their time.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So nobody signs up to be a manager in order to not do a great job for their team members. But if you force them into processes that take them out of their day to day and take them out of the time that they need to spend with their team members for hundreds of hours a year, then it's no wonder they can't show up at their best. And when managers don't show up at their best, they can't actually bring out the best in their team members.
Mm,
So if we give them the tools and the capabilities and the awareness to celebrate the wins of their teams, to understand the strengths of their team members and bring those out, we empower managers to bring out the best in their teams, and that delivers real, tangible business results.
Right, right,
But we consistently don't follow that process in
right.
practice in the real world.
Right. So tell us, you're talking a lot about, how to encourage, right, that next generation as well. And given that there are five different generations in the workforce, how are your clients finding ways to inspire and encourage this multi-generational workforce with different needs and tendencies, right? Like Gen Z receives feedback differently, wants to be engaged differently than Gen X or Gen Y, and has communication differences. How are you finding, clients finding those new ways to encourage that workforce?
Yeah, I think one of the underlying principles is that we're finding our clients are meeting their employees where they are. And so rather than generalizing that Gen Z wants this or Gen
Yeah.
X wants that, it's who are you as an individual and individualizing that feedback. Really recognizing each person brings their own unique strengths. They don't sign up for a job and then don't want to do great work. And companies want their teams to do great work.
Mm,
So, really understanding how those individuals are contributing, bringing transparency to what great work is happening, like really celebrating the wins,
yeah.
enrich stories about how people are either living the values or working together. That is a way to actually provide great transparency into what good looks like for the company, and that helps
Mm,
people understand what is expected. So it takes some pressure off of managers themselves in conveying that repeatedly, really democratizing the engagement across the team and building a workplace on positive recognition as a
yeah.
way to reinforce what we want to see
Good behavior.
everyone engaging in.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
typical. It's like, typical
It's
psychology. It's
yes,
like
it's
that's
good
like one of the
psychology. Yes.
reinforcing good behavior. But, I love so many things about what you're saying, specifically, that like there's this one example that I love that companies have created like internal podcasts, right?
Mhm.
To meet their employees where they're at. If you're commuting to work, like it's an easy thing to listen to a podcast where you're getting a bunch of information, communication, but you're also getting to know the culture
Yeah.
of a company. And what we were talking about before earlier too, it's like the best way to, attract and retain talent is to showcase your culture. I think this is exactly what we're talking about.
That's it, that's it, and culture is not like posters on a wall or
Right.
slides in a presentation delivered by an HR team who
Yeah,
definitely committed to helping create a great culture. It's created by the people, and so you have to bring that forward.
totally.
Um, yeah.
And I think a lot of the time people feel underappreciated and undervalued. And so feedback, I always love the saying, feedback is free
Mhm.
and feedback is valuable to everyone involved, right? And I think that creating a culture of, you know, this bi-directional feedback is something that I'm a huge proponent of, that I help organizations kind of navigate, given that Gen Z is a
Mhm.
little bit different and a little bit,
Mhm.
more sensitive sometimes. Can you share, just like as we wrap up here, like one actionable tip for giving feedback?
Yeah, I think giving that positive feedback is really it establishes trust and it makes way and creates space for providing constructive feedback. And a lot of times the giver of feedback is really concerned about providing that constructive feedback. There's a lot of fear associated with it, so we hold
Mm,
back. But if you ground your feedback in caring for the other person, the most caring thing that you can do is provide candid, kind, but direct feedback to help them improve. If you truly care about that
mm,
other person, you don't only celebrate what they're great at and their wins, but you also help them make that small adjustment that will increase their impact or increase their effectiveness. And that's really when looking inside, like how you need to come at providing constructive feedback. And that's also how you need to receive it.
oh, I love that so much. Wow, that's beautiful. The kind, what was it? Kind,
Kind,
compassionate,
candid,
candid,
direct.
and direct.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that. I
Yes.
I want that.
Yes. I think we all do. And when we unleash our team members to do that for each other, it's not just like a top-down approach.
Ooh,
We really unleash the power of teams.
I love that. I love that. Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you come back. This is such an incredible conversation. I feel like it was also actionable and like totally heart-centered. So keep
Ah,
doing what you're doing,
thank
empowering
you.
incredible managers and teams to do their best and live their best lives. And yeah, hope to see you back sometime soon.
I would love to come back. Thank you so much, Danielle. Enjoy the
Thanks,
sunshine
Deborah.
later.
Thank you. I will.